Borussia Dortmund had more fouls, they had more yellow cards, they had more offsides, and they had more corners, but Barcelona had more of everything else. Calma culés, it is just one leg, but Barcelona firmly have one foot in the semifinals of the Champions League. By the way, Real Madrid is also down 3-0 to Arsenal in their first leg, with still a lot to play for, but the point is, it is a good day to be a culé. Welcome to episode 677 of the Barcelona podcast, brought to you by the Blue Wire Podcast Network. I'm Dan Hilton, and thank you so much for everybody that joined me on Big Up for the Watch Along today. We had more than I think I've ever had in a watch along. You could feel it. These are big games, big moments, and I appreciate everyone joining for that one. I will only have the second half for the matchup against Leganes on Saturday, so no first half, but the second half. So make sure you look out for that one and join me at halftime. Hopefully Barcelona already up and there's only just a little bit to talk about. And then next week, I will have watch-alongs for both the second leg of this one and I guess a hate watch-along, if you want to call that, for Arsenal Real Madrid in the second leg, as well as Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan, because the winner of that one is who Barcelona will face potentially in the semifinals if they hold on against Dortmund on Tuesday. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a comment, and a like. It helps out a ton, more than you could possibly know with the algorithm. All right, but it's about time. Let's dive in. Here are the 5 headlines. Wait, actually, there might be 6 headlines here for the 4-0 win over Borussia Dortmund in the first leg of their Champions League tie. Headline 1 is Dortmund under attack. Starting lineup-wise, Gavi did the presser yesterday, and usually that tips that a player is going to start. But Hansi Flick also, in that press conference, mentioned some kind of hint that Fermín Lopez was going to take part in this match. So Fermín gets the start, but it was on the other side. Nico Schlotterbeck, having gone down on Monday, out for the rest of the season for Borussia Dortmund. Emotionally devastating, but on the field, little foreshadowing here, it was also a devastating miss for them with your best center back unavailable for the rest of their season. They also have Bayern Munich on the weekend as well. It's a tough time to be a Dortmund fan, and that is going to be a theme throughout this headlines. The reason why losing Schlotterbeck was such a big problem was because that front line from Barcelona all had their moments. We know about the goals, but Lamine Yamal began this match on the front foot. He looked really good from the opening whistle. His first moment comes in the 5th minute. Lewandowski helps with the build-up. It's a switch to Lamine Yamal. His shot was blocked, but then seconds later, he skates by Benzabaini from a tight angle, gets his shot wide, but still Lamine Yamal was starting the game, as I said, with good energy. 7th minute, Pedri down the left to Rafinha. It's a cutback that is pure to Lewandowski. His shot is one time from distance. It's saved by Kobel, but Lewandowski touching the ball with a bit of confidence to begin the match as well. 13th minute, it's Lamine Yamal again, cuts inside, makes a dangerous run. Rafinha's first touch, that time let him down. The first touch and the final ball was really the only reason why Barcelona did not lead this game 1-0 earlier in this match. 24th minute, the cards start to come out. Dortmund were struggling to find the game. Adeyemi pulls down Koundé. That was his second infraction. That's why he goes in the book. And right after that, on the free kick, Barcelona now already up in the 25th minute, 1-0. That is how much action there was and how much Barcelona was on the front foot that very quickly we are into the first goal, 25 minutes in. Kubarsi was going to get credit for the goal, but this is stolen by Rafinha. It's a set-piece delivery from Fermín Lopez to the back post. Interesting that Rafinha was not delivering, but instead it was Fermín Lopez. Inigo Martinez was at the back post to find it with his head. Kubarsi gets a foot on it, just a poke, that's enough. VAR checked it to see if Rafinha was onside or offside, because after Sobol got a slight touch to it, and Rafinha jumping on it at the back post, you never know. You want to say that Rafinha stole it from him and it was just an instinct, but I don't know if you really know if that was going to stay out. At that angle, it could have hit the inside of the post, but in live time, you never know. Anything can happen. So Rafinha, good on you. Finish that one off, staying onside, and Rafinha gets credit for it. 12 goals now in 11 matches in the Champions League. Remember the hat trick that Rafinha had against Bayern Munich? He has been awesome. He is on the verge of history as well. Just a few goal contributions short of Lionel Messi in his best season. And there's also an all-time record of Cristiano Ronaldo more than 10 years ago that Rafinha is chasing as well, which he would also contribute to in this match. Headline 2 is allowing BVB to run. Whenever you score a goal, one of two things can happen. You can either continue on the front foot or the opposition can find a way back. And Dortmund, they found a bit of mustard. They found a bit of intensity after the goal. The 34th minute, Fermín gets cut down. Lamine Yamal on the break the other way. It's a 2v4 with Rafinha and Lamine Yamal, but the kid doesn't care. His pass is picture perfect, but Rafinha just couldn't get his leg around it. The 36th minute, Dortmund with one of their big chances in this match, a broken play. ball kind of bouncing around. It's a good one-touch passing, though, to settle everything down in that chaos for Dortmund. They feed Guirassy, floating the ball over the middle, but he can't get a boot on it properly. And Tech, he goes down early for the save, but still finds the ball bouncing him. Good fortune for Barcelona here. And that was about the only good fortune they needed because they really did control the rest of this match. And while that was the best chance for Dortmund in this match, it doesn't mean they weren't finding the game. And I think it's about time to hit the tactics board in that first half to find out why. So when Barcelona were controlling the match well in the early going, what I liked was the movement from Fermín Lopez and Lewandowski. A lot of checking in from Fermín from that spot, and then Lewandowski would check in this way, and they would rotate. And that would just allow the ball to flow down that left side or to flow to Lamine Yamal in any direction there. And that was really helping Barcelona get forward the way that they wanted to. That helped them control the match. And yes, as Fermín Lopez and Lewandowski, Fermín, his first touch wasn't as bad, but Lewandowski, as his touch did start to struggle there in that second half, that was kind of the difference. That's what turned it. Barcelona were not really controlling the game as much as they were early on. And when you're losing the ball here, right around the midfield line, now you have a lot more trouble because you're forcing your own back line to have to drop deeper. So the high line isn't really as high as it would like to be. And then we saw Barcelona have that prolonged stretch of play there in the final third for Borussia Dortmund. They didn't get the goal, and now Dortmund is trying to get out and run. Because again, if you're losing the ball in, let's say you're losing the ball here in this position, and then you have De Jong and Pedri out of position. So Pedri had been up here supporting Rafinha. And then if this ball is turned over with Lewandowski trying to drop in, this is how Dortmund is coming in. They're coming through the middle, and then they're taking that ball out wide and attacking Balde. Or if you lose it in this position, now they're taking the ball out wide, and 1v1, they're attacking Koundé down that right side, and they're willing to just get crosses in for Guirassy because that is what his job is. And so far, Nico Martinez and Kubarsi have been up to the challenge. But for Barcelona, when it was good, it was because they were having a sturdy first touch. They were having a stylistic first touch, and they were getting those balls out wide. And then when they were struggling there as the first half was going on, it was because the first touches weren't as good. And now you're losing the ball in dangerous positions, and you're not taking control of the midfield. I don't know what you do differently with Pedri and De Jong. Again, if anything, I think you say, hey, Fermín, hey, Lewandowski, can you guys just have a better first touch in the middle of the field? Don't lose the ball in that position, because that is allowing Dortmund to open up this game and to run at our back line, which is absolutely not what we want to happen. So that, I think, when I talk about differences or changes for the second half, that's pretty much the only thing I would change or do differently, and just have your players play a bit better. Right after some of those bad touches, what I'd like to see was that Barcelona did deal with that Dortmund surge of energy by controlling the game. They took over as the first half came to an end, just passing around Dortmund's half of the field, not worried, not deterred. That said, Dortmund did, right before halftime, off a throw and have another chance with Guirassy, but his shot goes wide. He might have been offside anyway. Either way, Barcelona survived. They're up 1-0 going into halftime. Headline 3 is Frontline on the move. Niko Kovac didn't really entirely love what he saw at halftime from his team, so he makes a switch to this front line, bring on Maximilian Baer, who I had spoke with Ben on that preview show on Monday about how dangerous he could be coming off the bench. A bit of a different profile than Adeyemi, who goes to the bench because of that yellow card, but it switched over Gittins to that left side, and he immediately made more of an impact against Koundé when the second half began than he did in the whole first half. But I give him his compliment now because he didn't really do much. Koundé absolutely smothered him for the rest of that game. And because Dortmund didn't score early in the second half, it was back to Barcelona scoring. The 48th minute, here comes the 2-0. Pedri wins it in the midfield. The yellow shirts of Dortmund got back in time. So that time, it was good defense on the counter, but Lamine Yamal's cross, it bypasses all of them. So it doesn't matter when the opposition has too much quality, as Lamine Yamal does. Ryerson also, as much credit as I want to give Lamine Yamal, Ryerson falls asleep at the back post against Rafinha. That can't happen if you're Dortmund, and Rafinha made an athletic move to head it back across for Lewandowski, and the Polish striker hits it up into the goal. This is a poacher's goal, sure, but it's a goal nonetheless. Now 10 in 11 matches in the Champions League for Lewandowski, who is ever nearing 50 on the season. He's certainly going to hit that mark, and it might do it in the next week or two. Lewandowski, you can criticize what he did in the first half with the first touch, but he was ready to play in the second half. And Barcelona as a whole were ready to play. Their press was better. And when all the fundamentals and all the buildup are better, that means you can just put the ball at the feet of Lamine Yamal and let your guys go to work. It gives your front line the opportunity to have quality as long as your first touch is good and you've got a good system and you're pressing and working hard for each other. As a team, playing as a unit, is there a better unit, all 11 in world football? I had an eye on the PSG match against Aston Villa. There was a lot of individual brilliance in that game for PSG. They deserved the 3-1 for that one, but again, a lot of individual stuff. For Barcelona, as a team, they were all conquering today. Headline 4 is Fermín passing on point, or I could say that his shooting wasn't necessarily on point today, but that's okay. I totally understood with this game potentially going up and down why Fermín started. He was an extra body into the midfield. He was an extra body running into the attack. And I think that extra man in the box, that allowed the space for Rafinha and Lewandowski and Lamine Yamal to kind of go to work. A lot of 1v1 situations for them, and that's because Fermín is a constant threat around that box, especially at the top as a runner coming in, which he did in the 63rd minute. A Fermín miss. It's a poor clearance from Chan, but Pedri to Fermín, and Fermín goes wide with the shot, just hit the outside part of the post. And then a minute later, Fermín, another 2 chances, built by Lamine Yamal, blocked first and then skied over. So Fermín, while shooting wasn't working, it was the passing that did. Here comes Barcelona on the counter. And a reminder, too, that in modern football, the difference between this Hansi Flick Barcelona and the one that last won the Champions League in 2015 or even before that, Pep Guardiola, is in modern football, you've got to be a counter-attacking side who can also control a match. And this Barca showed you why they won 4-0. They controlled the match when they needed to. They suffocated Borussia Dortmund when they needed to. But when it was time to get out in the break, when Dortmund made the mistake, especially on set pieces, I told you that last week against Atletico Madrid. When you have sides of quality, when they throw bodies forward on set pieces, you've got to be able to counter. And this Barcelona side can do it all. And that is why they're one of the favorites in the Champions League this season. This third goal is on the counter. Fermín takes over. Lamine Yamal plays him through, and he has a lot of time to find Lewandowski making the run in. It's a one-timer to beat Sobel, a really quality strike. The first goal was a poacher's goal, but the second goal is just a goal scorer's instinct. Gets all of it on this one-timer. Was this one better than Mikel Moreno's one-timer against Real Madrid yesterday? Hey, let me know about that on social media or down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. Now for Lewandowski, it's 11 in 11 matches in the Champions League. What do I keep telling you? Criticize him in different game states all you want if his first touch isn't there to help with build-up. And yeah, he puts Barcelona under attack sometimes when he gives it away in bad positions, but the dude scores goals. That's why he's a starter for Barcelona. And again, I'll say it a million times over, we can talk about him next year when this season is over. Still time to win some trophies. I will also give him his flowers because right after that, he wins a header on a cross from Borussia Dortmund. Hey, if he's going to defend too, I have very little criticized from Robert Lewandowski. And then headline 5 is semifinals in sight. 74th minute, Fermín Lopez gets some appropriate applause, a lot of good applause from that Montjuic crowd. On comes Gavi to finish out the match. And the 77th minute, Gavi wasn't on the field for long, and he's helping defend in their half of the field because then Barcelona are back out on the counter for the 4th goal. It's a 3v2 for Barcelona. Rafinha, a beautiful ball over Lamine Yamal. Rafinha, his best match since coming back from international duty. We were worried about him having lost his head in the post-game against Real Betis. Ter Stegen, him, in a little bit of a shouting match, a little bit of a shoving match. But, hey, he seemed to put that behind him. Rafinha was good in this match. Yes, he got the goal. He also had the assists. Goal contributions galore for Rafinha. And Lamine Yamal finishes this one and a little bit of a dance afterwards in honor of the tie. I don't want to talk about if Barcelona don't have this tie put to bed. We'll worry about that after the second leg. But yes, this does feel like Barcelona are on to the semifinals at that point. It's okay to feel just a little bit of confidence in the fact that Barcelona are up 4-0 in this tie. 80th minute, Pedri, Lewandowski, and Inigo Martinez, they also get their applause off for Eric Garcia, Ferran Torres, and Araujo. Inigo Martinez and Frankie de Jong also in this match. I didn't mention them, but they deserve their flowers. Frank de Jong, especially in the second half, he and Pedri were excellent. It cannot be understated the difference that Pedri and de Jong made in that second half, taking control. Positionally, they won second ball after second ball after second ball, interceptions, helping out their fullbacks defend. Pedri and de Jong were excellent in this game, and Inigo Martinez was a rock at the back. Guirassy was constantly attacking Cubarsí, and I thought, yeah, there were some moments in the first half, but Cubarsí was much better against Guirassy in the second half, as I think Dortmund also ran out of legs, so Guirassy got some less service as well. Inigo Martinez cleaned everything up, communicating everything at the back and stepping in for those interceptions and those crosses, dealing with all of it when he needed to. 84th minute, a reminder that Szczesny was also in this game, forced to make a save late. And Szczesny, he doesn't have much to do. Keep your focus back there, put your cigarette out, and he makes a save on an acrobatic shot by Ryerson. Dortmund did have some late efforts on some set pieces too, but Barcelona, they did enough to get the job done. And my oh my, we have a bonus headline today. Headline 6. Yes, 6 headlines for this one. It's Hello Ansu Fati. The human victory cigar this season that is Ansu Fati has not played in 2025, and here he is, Barcelona 4-0 in the Champions League, and he comes on late for Lamine Yamal. 86th minute, was Lamine Yamal laboring? I don't think so. We'll check on his status, but seems to be okay. The crowd chanting his name. Yes, obviously, the roof would have blown off the place. I don't know what would have happened on the watch-along if Ansu Fati had scored, but the fact that he was just on the field, remember, he is the number 10 for Barcelona. Remember, the fans still love him. We are still in his corner. I understand why he doesn't want to leave. Other players who are kind of being forced out, I get it, but you could see his teammates and the fans, they still want him to succeed at Barcelona. They still want him to find a role, and it's so hard to get minutes at a team like this who are winning and playing at the level that they are. It's tough to find minutes. So Ansu, I'm really excited that he got to be a part of this trophy-winning season because Barcelona have already won the Spanish Super Cup. And I'm not saying they're going to win other trophies just yet, but they are in the driver's seat. They got 1-1 in the Copa del Rey final. They've got 8 fixtures left to wrap it up in the Liga because they're up by 4. And they've now, if they take care of business against Borussia Dortmund, they've got 4 victories or even a tie in the second leg. They've got 3 more wins and a draw or some positive result where they don't give up 4 or 5 goals. They've got just 3 more victories, and they're hoisting that Champions League trophy. This has been a phenomenal season for FC Barcelona, and it's still all hands on deck because Ronald Araujo came on, 2 important, huge late blocks for him that kept this 4-0, and Ferran Torres also helping out defend. The only thing that I think was a little bit worrying was that late on in the match, BVB did find a little bit of fight. Yes, they had more to play for, I guess, late. They still wanted to find a way back in the tie. But when Pedri left the match, so did all semblance of control. So that's a little bit of a worry. And believe it or not, yeah, we had 6 headlines. I'm going to leave you with the negative there, unfortunately. But the positives are, as I said in the intro, I will have watch-alongs galore coming up because if Barcelona are in all the competitions, that means we've got watch-alongs for all the competitions. Please subscribe on YouTube or follow me on the podcast apps. Follow me on social media, wherever you can find me. I've been posting more of those shorts on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, so there are places on social media to follow along. But Kool-Aids, I leave you with this. Do enjoy these results. Take them in. If you were with this club in the last few seasons, you know you took your lumps. Very much like the fans who were around the early 2000s, that being the aughts, the turn of the millennium. For those fans that were part of that, for the fans that were fans going all the way back to the 60s and the early 70s, trophies are not guaranteed. And these trophies are still not guaranteed. But at least enjoy these wins. At least enjoy when Barcelona is playing just great football. It's fun to watch. They're fun to watch with people. They're fun to enjoy together with the Barcelona community. So please, again, subscribe, help me out wherever you can, and let's continue to enjoy this season. Forza Barca.